Yahar! Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab your pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts Viatek and Chibi Bree are back from their latest adventure.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I always do that. Goodness. Hello, welcome. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Golden Feather. Today is May 14th, 2021. This is episode 79, What's to Come, and our guest today is Easkeruth. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Goodness. My Stream Deck died, so I don't have the thing to push all the buttons with.
No automation today.
No automation today. I gotta fix it. But yes, for those of you that don't know, Easkeruth is... Want to introduce yourself?
I am Simurg's editor, part of the Greater Ashes community, or at least I try to be, but as some people know Sim, he likes to be busy, and so that makes me busy too.
That is fair. And we have with us a very tired Vertec today. He has slept 3 hours in the last 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, last day and a half or so. Work is killing me.
And he's going right back to work right after this. So
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I was trying to get him to go to sleep after this, but you know, only one of us can win.
Yeah. Work needs done. Got to do it.
And I'm not looking short, Phelan. You're looking short.
You guys are working hard, absolutely.
From Paradox and Company over there.
Yes,
and,
welcome in.
T-Elf, by the way, thank you for the cheer right off the bat.
Yes, indeed. Cheers. And another round on Jalon, Paradox Gaming. We were over there as he was ending. We were all making fun of how short I am. So I'm expecting a lot of short jokes. Just FYI. Hiya, Rochambeau. Welcome in.
A lot of short jokes, like 2 words or less.
Ha ha ha.
Lower your chair.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. To start things off with our podcast update, as you all, well, not all of you know, but as a lot of you know, oh, thank you, McJ. Welcome in. Welcome to the tavern. As a lot of you know, we will be moving in less than a month, but don't worry, that will not change our streams. We will... Okay, hold on. I'm out of here. Not so easy going back up. But as...
Which space? We'll get along fine.
Oh my goodness. I'll just shink, be down here. But we will be kicking off our podcast as normal. And hello, Z, welcome in. Were you properly warned this time? Hold on 1 second.
She was not. I was busy trying to get the Da Vinci to work. And,
there we go. Properly
trying
back
to
up.
Get his intro done before the show, but it didn't work out that way.
Poor Z. Not getting on-demand service. What is this?
Makes you feel any better. I was about to send it when I saw your name in the chat, so
Things.
So I didn't have to let you know.
That's right. The pirate voice was cringy anyways.
Sorry, everybody's gonna know its glory.
Right. The biggest update I have is I know that some of you are expecting to see a different guest today and next week, actually. However, due to the NDA, I guess non-NDA pushback rather, those 2 streams we had planned, the content type for those streams cannot happen now because of this weekend being covered by NDA, as Intrepid has announced on their news forums and everything else. So we have instead a new perspective from Easkeruth, which I I was super excited that you joined us because we've been looking for some new faces for a little while. I was pulling back to like 6 months ago to a year, but like, please, somebody be our guest.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I usually work a lot in the background, so it was really nice that I got a message from you, Chibi Bree. It was really nice.
Well, thank you for making yourself visible to me in the content creator tab, because whenever you guys post things in those community creations or on Reddit, I'm kind of I grab them up really quickly, pick them up really fast. So
yeah. So note to self, anybody out there, if you happen to bump into a new content creator that's covering Ashes, let us know.
Indeed.
Especially if they seem interesting and you'd like to get to know them a little bit and ask them questions and such, because we'd be more than happy to get them on here if they're able. We've approached a couple people that didn't have the time to really do any side projects outside of their own, which is understandable.
Yeah,
But,
it happens.
outside of that, pretty much everybody else has been really receptive. So
Yeah, content creators do tend to be very, very busy people. It's hard to schedule stuff in.
Yeah.
it's not always easy to get a random day off of theirs that they can contribute towards somebody else's content.
Yeah, it's also nice to pull you guys from your own little shell of like being behind the camera or behind the microphone and not being like talking about yourself, but talking about Ashes. So, speaking of Easkeruth, I have your Twitch link up above you. What do you plan on streaming? Did you say
I do. I do plan on doing a lot of Ashes of Creation, specifically around making long form content. If you guys know some of the WoW YouTubers like Pint or Barney64, they really have some fantastic story content that they do, and that's generally what I'm liking to do as well. Kind of like a sort of journalist for whatever server that we're on, but obviously I can't do that yet, but it is something that I do have planned.
Mm-hmm.
And working for Simurg is definitely giving me the skills that I need in order to get that sort of stuff done. It's fulfilling work to be sure, because I'm on my toes all the time. That man has 3 channels.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think between him and Jalon, I'm not certain which one throws out more content more regularly. Probably Jalon still, but even then, Sim streams like every day or something, doesn't he? Either that or he's making content for YouTube if he's not streaming live.
Yeah, so for this year, it's a bigger focus on the channels since he made 3 of them, and now I'm helping him maintain those 3 channels. But last year, he had streamed every single day. Every single day. He hasn't missed a single one. I think I remember back in November, he was having issues with his stream because he had a big network outage with his the company that's in his area. And so he got onto his iPhone, which is very clearly he had a smaller iPhone, and he's just like this the entire time, just talking to everyone on stream because he did not want to stay.
Yeah, so I'm sending out those messages like 300 out of 365 days in a row.
Yeah, the man's crazy for doing that kind of stuff.
And honestly,
Commitment.
Yeah, commitment. It shows. It shows definitely. Sorry, I hope their audio levels are a little bit better. We were making sure. I'm gonna be playing with the background probably while we chat. I made sure to at least get the new cosmetics on there. Okay, so I don't get yelled at this week. They're there. I gotta fix them. Hello, Cash. Welcome in. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Tell us about how you got into Ashes, what drew you to Ashes, how you got involved with Simurg. Tell us, help the community know more about who you are as a person, I guess.
Oh boy. Okay, starting out. This was probably back in 2017. This was before I actually got into Ashes. I had a buddy of mine tell me about Ashes being on Kickstarter. But I really kind of just blew it off, and I really didn't say anything. That was back when they had the logo that you currently have on screen right now. That's when I saw it. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wrote it off because, first of all, I didn't really have a lot of money to begin with, and I wasn't going to go start to back another MMO, because we all know what the Kickstarter scene was like back in 2017. It was kind of rough. There was a lot of issues with games promising everything and then delivering nothing. But then once 2019, 2020 started rolling around, that's when I kind of started to get interested in it. I can't remember why I started to get interested in it, but I saw that Simmerg, also known as Phoenix, he had his stream open for Ashes because that's when he was streaming almost every single day. And I kind of just started getting in with that stream. I liked what he was doing, joined the Discord, and somewhere blatantly out of the middle of 2020, he asked for an editor. And I had done some YouTube work myself back when I was 18 years old. Oh man. All those videos are unlisted, by the way. None of you can find them, and you never will. But
I don't condone my own work.
I do not condone my 18-year-old work. But
find someone who's reposted it somewhere. Maybe it's a meme by now.
No.
If it's a meme, then I had a lot more outreach than I thought I did. That actually feels pretty good. People say they're funny, but just looking back on 18-year-old me was just, it was rough. But I had some editing.
It always hurts. It always hurts.
It always hurts because you see yourself trying way too hard. And you can tell, even though some people might not be able to tell, you're just like, oh, no, please. But I had done some editing work before on my own videos. And so when Sim had asked for an editor because he was looking for someone to help him with content making because he was streaming every single day, it was hard for him to do so. That's when I stepped forward.
And
cool.
we're actually going to be enlisting some of his help so we can get caught up ourselves.
Yeah, gonna put him to some extra work just in case Sim isn't keeping him busy enough.
Right. It's a lot of big projects that are being planned right now. Sim is a pretty creative mind. He has ideas of what he wants to do, and I'm there to help execute them.
Rock on. Hey, everyone can use a little hand, especially people that have 9,000 things going on at once.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
And I made this my thing because, oh man, back in like 2015, which is when I was 18, back in 2015 with the Vanoss days, the Vanoss gaming days, when Markiplier was starting to get big, I was super into YouTube videos all the time. I would watch them every single day, all hours of the day, because I was doing nothing. It was my senior year of high school, and you know how senior year of high school goes. So yeah. I was super interested in creating my own videos, doing my own thing. Obviously now they're all enlisted and I think they're cringy, but I might release them one day, but I want to wait for people to bask in the cringe first.
Starting to get the idea that Phelan might start looking for your stuff. Like they're just dropping out the exact methods for finding it. So,
Oh, yeah. I mean, they could find it. I don't have anything incriminating on there. It's just,
yeah, just funnies.
It's funnies. It's me doing a lot of stuff with my friends, playing different games, doing different dumb stuff. And it wasn't really the fact that we said anything bad. It was just that it was just a conglomeration of trying too hard.
Just kind of
trying too hard.
A little cringe, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I look back at just some random like video recording sessions of random crap I did when I was, same thing, teen, skateboarding around doing stupid shit. And yeah, I'll go ahead and keep it because I think it's entertaining for myself, but nobody else really needs to get a hold of that stuff. It's fine.
I feel like anyone who's ever made content and can see older videos of themselves, especially like once you get better, like I think if we looked at our very first video, we'd probably cringe a little. And that was like
I guarantee
2 years ago. We're established in 2019. By the way, we put that little thing all the way up in the corner. If you see the Golden Feather Tavern thing, it says established 2019 above that.
Nice.
It was a nice little touch that the person, oh my gosh, coffee drinker, thank you.
Coffee. Much appreciated.
It was a cute little touch that somebody that we hired did for us, and we really like it.
It's nice. It's like you guys are an actual tavern.
Right? That's how I feel. I would actually, I was chatting with Vertec about possibly getting like the Golden Feather Tavern logo printed somehow and then being able to put it on like the wall behind us at the new place somewhere.
Do you think you'd tattoo your arm with that beer tag?
No.
Well, let's see how far this thing goes first. Maybe
Cash,
someday, I'll
thank
say.
you.
Oh, thank you, Cash.
All right,
Appreciate it.
so turning our eyes over to the community spotlight, there are a few things from Reddit and the forums, and one thing that I really liked was is it Euron? Okay, so this is rated PG-13. It's mature content because occasional cussing. Euron fucking Greyjoy. Weather conditions affecting the environment's flora, fauna, and players.
Like thine ears.
Wait, that's making me hear better.
Yeah, it doesn't do the same thing with headphones on.
Dang it.
Sorry.
But what do you guys think? Because I know they're going to talk about having, different seasons. And I think each season lasts, a week or two? So
It's about a week or two as of what's listed currently.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I could say this for everything, but everything is up to change whether or not they want to implement that stuff in the first place. But as I was talking to you guys before it started, I really like the small additions of weather, like thunderstorms or blizzards and stuff like that, because it provides an actual atmosphere, because you tend to forget the sunny days, but you tend to remember the stormy days. And
Yeah.
that provides a lot more for people than to just have the same weather all the time.
Well, you say that, but what about if it were, say, out near an island in a tropical zone and it's always rainy all the time, but those sunny days are the rare ones? Those are the ones you're going to remember for that zone.
That's true. Yeah, it just builds this sense of, I think the best way to put it is like a sense of being. Where it's not necessarily immersion, because it's a lot more is going into play when you're talking about immersion, but it does give you like a nice sense of like, I'm here right now and I'm doing stuff in game,
yeah.
instead of just like going through the motions like what a lot of people see nowadays.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Kind of going on that kind of touches on a little bit of the I guess the topic that they're discussing in that post, that Reddit post. Like they're curious about it being more of a survival theme of it actually impacting flora and fauna. What do you think about that? Like, I know as far as the weather changing and all, it's good for memories and all, but how do you think it should impact the game at all outside of just maybe being an appearance?
I feel like it definitely should impact the game. I remember during the Asmongold interview that Steven had with him, Asmongold had brought up something like that because of the map that they saw at the time. If you remember, on the east side, just general east, it was this big, massive frozen area where it's probably like snowy all the time. You're probably not going to see much of a difference in like the seasons. It's just a barren wasteland, for lack of better words. Obviously, we are not in game to actually see it yet, but it's definitely something that is going to be interesting to look at, especially since they talk about wanting these changes in seasons. But during that interview, Steven had stated that there was only going to be certain things that you could find in that area because of the fact that it is always in a cold area. So that kind of leads you to believe that certain resources will only spawn in certain seasons and weathers.
Which makes sense. And like, I'm not sure how the name's supposed to be pronounced. I'm just going to say Eroji.
Eroji?
But
oh, yeah.
yeah, it should affect gatherables that grow from nature, which would definitely be a thing I could see happening. It would make logical sense for sure. But then the question is, would that be fair, or would they have some kind of a balance for things like mining? Like, because mining, it doesn't matter how much it rains or how much it snows or anything. Like, it's coal in a mine, or it's iron in rocks. Like, is there anything that they could either benefit or, I guess, I guess maybe that might be the benefit. Maybe it's not negatively impacted by weather either.
It could actually be impacted by weather, especially for surface rocks, because the cold would make it a lot more brittle, which makes it easier to mine. While in the summer days, it will make it a lot more technically soft, so it would be harder for it to mine. It kind of works in the real life, but it obviously would affect plant life a lot more than, say, mining or animal work, stuff like that. I would like to see it, even if it doesn't balance out very well, because you would be making that conscious decision that I am going for this kind of thing that I want to do as a profession in the game. So you have to take into account of the changing weathers and the changing season.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't remember who we talked to exactly. I think it was maybe Alpha Soul, about like a game that they were playing where like the lightning was actually dangerous and you had to find like cover and stuff like that, which ties in with what Witch Space said earlier. Witch Space, I love it when weather can interact with gameplay. Sprint stop results and sliding it in snow. Electric spells are dangerous to all in rain. Damps down fire spells. I also like the idea of it affecting your crops, the kinds of crops that you can grow, and the harvest quality of them. If it rained too much, maybe they've been like washed out. And the other thing is, how far is too far? Like too realistic, right? Because at the end of the day, you also want it to keep it realistic but fun.
Yeah, it's definitely not in the sense of one of the survival building games like with Ark or with, what was it, Valheim that came out. You definitely want that nice mix in between what feels right in terms of realism and what works in terms of magical, because it still is a magical world. So you could have like magical crops or like a magic dome to protect your crops from getting rained on. Like, obviously I'm just speaking out of the top of my head here, but it still is a magical world, so there can be things to counteract like what we know to be reality.
Yeah.
And hello there, my fellow neckbeards.
Yes, hello.
Welcome to the party. Yeah, we're talking about weather and how it would affect things.
Yes.
Like someone else made a good
Coffee drinker, thank
good
you.
mention.
Can't wait. I can't wait either.
Ooh. Thank you.
Thank you.
But like someone else mentioned, it affecting like naval stuff, going out on your boat and like raiding distant areas, or just going out to fish, and you got to fight against the weather. Then it's gonna
Coffee
be a lot more
drinker.
difficult.
Thank you.
Holy
Cheers.
moly! Thank you so much. That is greatly appreciated.
This I don't have too much knowledge on, but from what I have gathered from watching the Asmongold interview is that weather does affect more than just gatherables. Now, whether or not that'll actually be implemented is another story, but I would like to see it, honestly. For me personally, I do like that sense of realism, and the more tiny stuff you put in the game, the more realistic it feels. Even if we do live in a magical world, just because we do live in a magical world doesn't mean that realism still doesn't affect us.
Right. You know what I would like to see? Oh, by the way, hi, Faisal. I would love to see what it looks like when it goes from winter to spring. What does that change looks like? Is it instantaneous? Do we go from it being winter one moment to suddenly like a little bit, like 5 feet down the way, the snow gets melted really quickly and then there's like green grass everywhere? Or is it like slow, where like the snow begins to melt slowly, little by little, and things like that?
Looking at some of the videos that they put out before, one of them was about the seasons, and it showed, at least on that demo video, that it was a gradual change because they cycled through all the seasons like 2 or 3 times in a couple minutes.
I have to find that video. It's been too long. I think my memory is fading already.
Add leaf blowing to the processing tree.
I've definitely looked at that. I've looked at that video.
Anyone need their freehold mode? Trying to earn some money for college.
I got the landscaping service.
Yeah.
You guys are silly.
But yeah, it looked like it was going to be gradual at least, and that would make sense, to be honest. Like if each season's going to be a week, then you give each, the end and beginning of a week like a day for transfer. Then each season transfer is going to take about 2 days to gradually change.
I feel like realistically how they could do it is the day before any storms are stopped. And this is just for the sake of the processing of, the client side computer, because that probably takes a whole bunch if you were going to do like dynamic season changing. But it probably be best for the area if they had gradual in the sense that like storms stop, the sun starts showing a lot more, just talking about snow in general. And then like the next day, that's when the snows are gone. And that's when you move into spring.
Yeah.
Don't know the timetable for how they would do that sort of thing, but I would definitely like to see it a lot better than just like you log on one day and it's a hailstorm blizzard, and then the next day you log on and it's summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious exactly how much variance and control they have on the daylight as well, Orochi. Like how much of it is going to be in there? Like is it going to change throughout the day even? Like is the sun going to trace over the sky and cast shadows in different directions, or it's just going to kind of, okay, it's day and the sun's always on that side type of thing?
I know they did show a video of them testing shadows, so at least they're attempting it right now. I don't know how much they could get into it, but I would definitely like to see dynamic lighting for sure.
Thank you, Richie.
Yeah,
Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, what was that?
I said thank you, Richie. I had missed that. I got a little sidetracked. For the sub.
And there was definitely the video. It was one of their dev live streams. They popped up a little video talking about it, right? And they were talking about how they went from like a static lighting. It was just night and day, but it was just static. It was day and then it was night. Like there was a gradual change, but the shadows didn't vary. It wasn't like a dynamic changing of it where it would alter throughout the day as well. And they decided to go that route, and it looks nice so far. I just hope that they kind of stick with it.
It does look nice. It's just it's that weird area where you have to juggle in between making it look really nice and also make it nice on people's computers, because
and nice on the server as well. I mean, it's already going to be trying to push it a really large number of people. Really large number of people.
And I also wanted to say that I think weather systems are also interesting, but this also kind of goes into another thing that I saw. Have you had much experience with options for players with like physical disabilities, Easkeruth?
I've seen that in a couple games.
Okay.
It's kind of difficult to do that sort of thing when a lot of systems are in place that require you to press a lot of buttons, like for an MMO, for example. Like if you just look at World of Warcraft, you can see some of these top streamers, they have some odd 40, 50 different things that they can press. I would say ESO is probably the best in terms of stock accessibility, because besides the visual ones, like the color blindness and stuff like that, they have a very limited skill bar that they use, so it makes it a lot easier for people to use their system. But for something like Ashes, which will have a lot of buttons that you can press and stuff like that, I find it kind of difficult. I'm not a game dev, so I wouldn't even be able to begin to try to understand how you would go about having accessibility options, but I would want as many people to have the options to play as they can.
I would say one way of easily doing that is being able to reroute hotkeys, right? So like all of us gamers that have Naga mice, we like to reroute everything to like 1 through 12 or whatever, so that we can use the thumb clicking, click, 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 especially for people like me who have tiny hands. Just move your thumb a little bit and I can reach everything instead of like going across the entire keyboard. But I actually have a friend, Psycho, he has a disability where he has to use the foot pedal to play games, and so being able to reroute to a foot pedal to do your W key to walk forward would be nice, and then just be able to strafe from there. But I remember this being a topic a long time ago. Vertec, I don't remember if you happen to remember a lot of it, but there was somebody in our community who actually had disability, and back in like the Kickstarter days, and this was a thing that they were kind of worried about. But the other thing is, at what point again are we able to, I guess, cater to them without making the game too easy for other people? I guess I think is that the direction I'm trying to go with.
Yeah, that was one of the constant struggles. Is I know the one thing, and the person you're talking about, I forget her name, and I feel really bad for it, but I haven't seen her around in forever, like years. So she may have stepped away for a bit too. But she was one of the early Kickstarter backers. And she was definitely worried about the accessibility functions. There was even one of the early features that they started out with was changed, and this was probably one of the reasons, was the crit mechanic, where there was going to be, while you're fighting, there would be this little line that would go across the screen, and you'd have to actually hit your spacebar or like your action key at a specific time to get extra focus to do extra damage later. But it was so dependent on your ping rate and being able to react quickly that it was also kind of barring to anybody who had any kind of accessibility issues.
Yeah.
So
While
I think
nifty
that
in
was
its
one
own
of the reasons
right.
it was taken out. Plus,
Yeah.
even the people who didn't have accessibility issues said it wasn't exactly the most fun mechanic, because it was just a and no matter how you dress it up, it's still going to be kind of a pain mechanic, because you're always going to feel like you're missing out if you don't hit that perfect crit, and you're going to blame yourself like, I'm terrible at this game. It's just a feel bad mechanic.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on what the mechanics are in the game that would lead to an advantage if you had the accessibility options. Like, what I would think about is the basic attack that Steven has talked about, and how you can hit that with abilities. And you'd be absolutely right that using a what was it? It was like a foot pad. Using the foot pad would be a lot better than having to hit a key all the time. Yeah, that was a big problem in ESO as well with the basic attacks, is that people would macro the basic attacks with any of their stuff to do animation canceling, all that kind of, just trying to be as advantageous as possible in the game. It's always that weird line. Obviously, I want people to play the game, and I want as many people who are able to, with accessibility options that are there. It's just it's a hard conversation to talk about, especially when you're not a game dev yourself, because there's just so much that we don't know that goes into game development that would lead to those accessibility options being in place. But definitely being able to rebind your keys, that's just a quality of life that should be in all MMOs, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, while some of these things, like the little mini game for extra focus, stuff like that, sounds nice, it's also important to kind of view it from other people's perspectives who aren't able to have that kind of reaction time for whatever reason. Not necessarily lack of skill, but lack of ability, So
Yeah, sometimes it's just like physical limitation. They can't hit like certain key combinations very well. That's
exactly. I mean, I can't, but that's a lack of skill.
Same here sometimes. I mean, some games do it really great. There was a game called Legend of Dragoon for PlayStation that was really fun.
Yeah.
And they had a mechanic. It was somewhat like a combo system where, as you were fighting, there would be like a square that would appear above the enemy, and then a giant square would be rotating down to it. And if you smash the key at exactly the moment it's lined up, you get bonus attack. And then there'd be like a triangle the next time, and like different attacks that have different shapes and different speeds and whatnot at which it moves. So it was neat, but then you're also not dealing with latency at that point, so they can make it a little bit more forgiving without making it so that you have a half a second to hit the perfect crit point.
Yeah.
I think another thing to think about is also people that don't have maybe permanent accessibility problems, but for definitely people that may have like carpal tunnel syndrome or something, because a lot of quick time games have that problem where it will flare up people's carpal tunnel syndrome because they'd have to press a button like 500 times.
like BDO when you catch a horse, spacebar madness.
But like, because recently Dead by Daylight did this. If you guys don't know Dead by Daylight, it's a horror multiplayer game where one person plays as a killer and 4 other people play as survivors to try to go and fix up generators in order to escape. And one of the problems that people had is that whenever you got captured, you had to mash the space bar, mash the A button, mash whatever you had in your hands in order to try to wriggle out or to keep yourself from dying. And that was a big problem that people had that they actually recently fixed, where it was a hold down instead of a mash. So I think that's where you gotta get into when you're talking about any mashable stuff, like with the basic attacks in Ashes.
Yeah,
is something where you got to be kind of careful, especially with the mashing, which
like
is why
spamming the left click.
Yeah, which is oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll be honest, like that's really my only one major gripe that I have at this point with anything Ashes related. Most other things I'm like, I'll see how it plays out. I don't exactly like that, but I don't like the sound of it. I might love how it actually feels when I play it. You never know. So I give it a chance. But you have to actively keep smashing the same button for your main attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part where I kind of have to go, that might not be as fun as it sounds, to be honest. Like, I'd like to hold it or whatever, but I haven't gotten carpal tunnel, but I've gotten really close. Like, I've gotten that pain that you start to get before you have issues, and I have to readjust on how I just hold my hand to make it go away. And I don't want to hit that because I'm playing a game that I love, and suddenly it hurts for no reason besides I was having fun.
Yeah, who came up with QuickTime events? Those suck.
Oh man, I don't know, but I do know my workaround for a BDO is to use both fingers and like back and forth, and that like eased up my hand a little bit for going so quickly. Because I had actually like my wrist would start hurting trying to like hit spacebar with one hand so fast, so I would just go back and forth. Getting old and it pains.
At least for the horse taming thing, I can at least say that with certain mice, there's ways around that. You can set your little scroll wheel to any key you want, including space. So you could totally just scroll your wheel and have it hit space like 100 times a second.
Oh my goodness, Phelan.
And there you go.
Yeah, I know there's certain mouses that have its own software that allows you to change stuff on the mouse itself in order to do a different keybind that's there. That's getting into territory that most people don't really go into themselves. I remember I used to play WoW and I had a gamepad mouse on my left hand, and then I always found it a pain because I'm lazy and I wouldn't want to switch back to my keyboard so I could type a whole bunch of messages to people. I just like this, just sitting back like this, just with my gamepad and my mouse, and just start playing.
See, that's why I like Discord and joining voice channels, because then I can just respond verbally to you instead of having to stop what I'm doing to try to respond to you like in the middle of a fight. Or like people are like, why are you ignoring me? I'm in the middle of fighting a thing. I can't just respond to you. I'll die.
And good catch on that, by the way, Phelan.
No, I was gonna pretend that wasn't there. We're gonna just keep going.
There is no pretending. It's there, and it's forward.
Wait, sorry. It's hard to pronounce that word. Shorten? Am I saying that right?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we're gonna get on just fine.
That's fine. I have a best friend who is 5'3", and I give him hell. It's very fun.
I'm shorter than that, though.
Doesn't matter. As long as you're shorter than me, you're short, and that's what
fair.
I find very funny.
Oh man.
Oh me, oh my. So, what other fun stuff you got there? What other fun things have you found?
Lots of things, and especially when we get down to the fan focused stuff.
Yeah.
I will say ahead of time, there will not be the typical role play poll. They did not post one this week, so I was a little sad. There used to be a bug with the horse taming for BDO. I found if you ran the horse into a tree or rock, you could skip the sugar and rope mini task. Vertec
All
found
right,
that if
all
you ran the horse into water, you could summon it back to the stables really quickly.
Yes, those annoying rivers that would take you like 10 minutes to run around. I just went full gallop and jumped as far as I could, and the horse would land in the water, and I would swim to the other shore and summon the horse and be on my merry way. Horse took one for the team.
Constantly. Took many for the team.
Hey, he was a very trusty steed, okay? A very, very trusty steed.
He's doing his best.
Right. Oh, goodness.
I may or may not have been the most trusty rider, but you know, that's a whole different story we're talking about here now.
Oh man, I remember trying to get into BDO. I mean, it was fun. I liked
question mark.
I liked the combat for sure. The combat is very flashy and it makes it feels fluid and nice, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. I felt like there needed to be something else for that game, and I just wasn't getting it, and I don't know what it was. I think it was like a sense of presence, is what I would call it, because that's the problem that WoW has right now as well. Back in vanilla, when you used to play vanilla, you felt like you were this nobody that built up to be a hero. And now in WoW, it's just, hey, hero of the known universe that's killed several different gods and saved our planet like 500 times. There's a new problem. Go and take care of it.
Oh, hey, you grunt, go do your work.
And it doesn't make you feel like a hero when you
Yeah.
also look around you and there's like 2,000 other heroes, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only problem I have with BDO is the lack of presence of my bank account at the same time as success. I can
Oh
have
my
one or the
gosh.
other, really.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, I want to go and I want to do this and that. Oh, great. I need to spend money on these things in the cash shop in order to really succeed at that.
Yeah.
I never really got that far. Was it that bad? Did it get to an eventual point where you had to buy stuff?
I mean, see, that's the thing. That's the thing with BDO. You don't have to.
Absolutely.
But it is so incredibly tempting because the items that you can buy give you significant bonus. So you almost feel like you really, really want to just to get ahead, but you're not really doing it just to get ahead because everybody else out there is spending money. You're doing it to keep up, is what you're doing.
Definitely doing it to keep up. I would also say that it's not even that the you don't have to, is that they design the game around to make you want to do that. And I think that's where a bigger problem is.
And that's where things
I
get
find myself
dangerous.
wanting to spend the money more than feeling that I needed to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I mean, on the other side, like, that's kind of a bright side because you want to, instead of being like, ugh, in order to do this, I have to buy the biggest weapon possible that's the most damagey possible in order to even compete with these people. It's more like quality of life things, I guess, like faster herbalism. I don't know. Or alchemy time, cooking time.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you can get like a tent that lets you repair while you're away from town, and that's like $40.
Yeah.
And you can't buy it in game.
No. I mean, you can get something similar to it, but you have to spend a lot of money doing it. So you really have to be one of those that's always out of town doing like farming at all times.
Yeah.
That's
Make it
incredibly
worthwhile.
rough.
But then you can't even sell everything, and you can't like repair everything. It's kind of awkward. It's weird.
In BDO, you're damned if you do, but you're damned if you don't, right?
Pretty much.
That's definitely one of those things I wouldn't want to get in because, I mean, as patient as I am with games, it's when it feels like it's just slowed to a halt. And I mean, you can make a tier list of like the sins of different cash shops and how bad it can get. But personally, for me, any cash shop that has it give you an advantage over someone else is immediately a big no for me, just because it's always in the back of my head that it's like, hey, I could just buy this and make my life 1,000 times easier.
Yeah. Man. Hey, good thing Ashes isn't gonna be like that, right? So, if anything, I actually saw on Reddit, somebody posted Steven's response to New World's quality of life update. It was priceless.
It was legendary, is what it was.
Yeah, I was just like, and in that moment, Steven felt like a very real gamer feel again. Not like the dev or the, creative director or whatever. Like another gamer that's just tired of shit.
Yeah. Did you guys know that actually wasn't supposed to be information that got out yet? Someone leaked
really?
it. Yeah,
Oh,
it was supposed to be only for the beta, and someone leaked that information out. Okay, I'll just come out and say bad on him, because obviously it's an NDA. You're not supposed to release any information on that kind of stuff. But also, this kind of sucks. Why are you going to do this in the first place?
I just got timed out.
You got timed out. That's hilarious. Oh, because you're not on the golden feather one. Good job. Good job.
Wow.
Yeah, what TL said, they got angry and late, and that's absolutely understandable. I mean, like, even though I'm going to knock them for doing that in the first place because of NDA and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, you should never
they
leak.
got very understandably angry at it, as I would too, because Amazon's already a giant conglomerate as it is. They are an insane company that have their hands in almost everything, and they want to add another cash shop. They want to add another source of revenue. It's just like, come on, man. Let people enjoy games without having that nagging feeling in the back of their head that they have to buy something.
Yeah. And, Ashes of Creation has our cosmetic shop, but it doesn't do anything outside of add a skin.
It's all cosmetic. It doesn't give you a competitive edge over someone else in any aspect. Like, I would even consider a faster mining time or faster gathering time for anything that I would still consider that an advantage over others.
Oh yeah,
shouldn't be
definitely
allowed, especially considering the fact that New World tried to spin it, calling it quality of life.
Okay, Audrey Bites, thank you. Audrey Bites says, I quite like Project Gorgon for that reason. Not to change the subject, but it's worth a look.
Okay, noted.
I think it's always
I'm
a
making
part
a note of it right now.
I think it's always a part of that conversation, though. It's the bigger conversation that is actually going into lawsuit, because I believe Activision is under fire right now for their loot crates. A couple other companies are under fire because they are selling stuff that they shouldn't be. I forget what it was exactly, but it was on the essence of gambling, and it was a game that was under 18 years of age, and so the US laws for gambling can't do that unless you're 18 and above. So when you're putting it on a game that is not 18 and above, you run that risk of it being illegal in general, and that's what all of the litigations are for right now, is for that exact reason. They want to determine whether or not it's actually something that would be considered illegal if you were to put it in the same scenario as a real casino.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, if you could, Coffee, what do you mean by automation canceling? I'm not sure what that's.
I was wondering, do you mean canceling automatic things by moving, or?
I feel like he's talking in terms of how ESO does their basic attacks. So where you can...
no.
Let me go ahead and undo that and see if we can get that posted.
Yeah, please.
That's not bad. It looked like a web URL.
Because of a weird dot. Yeah.
Because of dot hack, yeah.
There are things in certain games, especially ESO being the biggest contender, is that when you cast an ability, you can end that animation on the ability with an auto attack, and they call it auto weaving, as someone said in chat.
I don't know how to undo that. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to have mod capabilities, but it's not working at all. Maybe if I switch back and forth. No. It's above coffee drinker. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. I mean, clearly I banned myself, so. Talking about attacks and stuff, though, if you don't mind me changing the subject a little bit while he's getting Neckbeard's stuff back up.
There it is.
Oh no, go ahead, absolutely, because this was about to turn into a sad turn of talking about lawsuits, litigations, and all the bad stuff we don't want to hear about MMOs.
Let's see. If fellow Neckbeard said, off-topic question: if you could mix a game and an anime to make a new game, what would they be? And his is Final Fantasy IX and Dot Hack. Sorry, I mean they made Dot Hack into a game already.
Did they really?
Yeah. There's I want to say like 3 of them out. I know I played one of them.
Thank you. Which
Dot Hack Contagion,
space?
I think.
Sorry you have to leave, but thanks for the love.
I know one of the anime video games, Sword Art Online, they have like some 7 odd games that are in there. I don't know. I feel like the mediums of entertainment should be separated from each other, because I mean, if you just look at video game movies, for example, like they're crushed awfully by people because it's not the same. When you play a video game, you're playing a video game because you want to feel like you're there. You want to feel like you're in the moment doing the thing. While movies is more like you're watching a story that's already been taken place, while a game is you're creating your own story. Now, for me personally, I like video game movies, but that's because I'm not a very big critiquer on movies in general, but I can see why people would not like that.
Yeah. I don't have a thought on this because I haven't actually played the Dot Hacks either. I was
honestly,
going to at one point.
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. I didn't even know it was the show until like I think 2 years after I played the game. I was a little bit behind on that one, but yeah, there were a few. I've always actually kind of been a fan of when they make games after series, or when they make a series after a game.
I did not like Sword Art Online's one though. That one was not very good. Thank you, Audrey Bites.
The Sword Art Online ones definitely felt like they were cash grabs rather than actual video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what you got to work. That's what you got to watch out for, though. Is if it's a passion project that was done well, or if it was so this seems popular, let's make money on it.
Yeah.
A little bit of a difference in between, and just gotta keep an eye out for which is which.
So, let's chat character animations.
Ooh boy.
So this is a post, more of a question, by individual stand 986, posted about 7 hours ago on the Reddit, about race and gender character animations. Are we gonna see different races and genders have different idol combat animations? I know it's early, but currently all the races are and genders are the same animations, just different sizes. Dwarves are just small humans. It would be great to give each race, and even better, each gender, at least its own idle run and walking animations to give them their own unique silhouette. For me, I mean, I feel like a female character should walk slightly different than a male character, but at the other half of this, my input on this is I feel like that'd be a lot of work, that if it's going to come in, it'll be a quality of life thing closer to like beta 2 or release, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's probably definitely something that they're not very focused on, but you can see it in a lot of different games where that's the case. I don't think they're going to keep the same animation for everyone. I mean, if you just look at when they instituted the Worgen in World of Warcraft and Cataclysm, it had a very, very unique running animation. And so it's just kind of one of those quality of life things that just add to the whole presence of the game, and it's something that I think should absolutely be there.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they're kind of approaching it well for their current setup, where it's going to be different as much as different makes sense to be required for right now. But for the most part, everyone's going to be the same as much as possible until down the road when they have more proven income. Like if it's proven that people like the game enough that they're willing to keep paying monthly fees for it and keep buying cosmetics to make it a success after it's launched or closer to launch even, then maybe they'll devote some more time to it. But for right now, I would sacrifice more unique player animations for the game coming out and being able to experience all the other stuff. And then after it launches out, like within the first 6 months or so, they'll probably have a good idea on how quickly they can jump into doing like various character animation stuff. If it's really successful, they could probably just hire like a couple of artists to do nothing but that. Hey, here's your job. Make every race and every sex gender within each race just different. And Tolnar, have them be completely unique because they're like animal people, and you know, they're gonna have a little bit more of a whatever way of walking and such. So
Yeah.
You bring up a very good point on the hiring too, because they're not even halfway to their projected size of a company too. So that's a lot of things that people kind of don't realize, or they just forget, which, I mean, it happens. I mean, you're looking at the game, you're not necessarily looking at the company. Some people do, some people don't. It's just whatever the case is, but they don't even have half of their projected size that they want. So it's definitely a lot of work on the people that they already have, and they are actively hiring right now. If you guys haven't already seen, they do post a lot on their Twitter that they are hiring.
Yep. And kind of on that note, from hanging out with, well, actually, before I say that, okay, Coffee Drinker, I'll look into that. Welcome in, looking for Visions and Mob Tech. I was trying to tag you guys, but I couldn't get your names to pop up, so welcome in. But earlier I was watching Jalon stream, and he was also making notice that the engineers that they're looking to hire are more like quality engineers, so like QA engineers. So that kind of sounds like to me they're trying to find more engineers to come on board, so if there's a problem during testing, they have somebody there immediately available to do some QA testing, on the engineering side at least. Like even from their own internal testing stuff that they've talked about doing a couple of times, you know, before giving us the ability to go into it.
And I mean, more hands-on means smoother transitions. And that's what we can hope for.
And I'm pretty excited to see what the future holds, especially with them moving into their new space middle of next month.
I think Steven's going to do an office tour.
Oh,
I feel like he's the kind of person to do that.
If he doesn't,
that's one of the first things they did.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say if he doesn't, I think the community will rage. Yeah, the Snapchat. Oh my gosh, with the ice cream guy.
Yeah, they started up a Snapchat specifically for that, and it's like, for the first couple weeks, that's all they would do is just walk around and randomly like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like stuff the phone in their face.
They have a Snapchat? I need to get on that.
Yeah. It's been kind of dead in the past, year because everybody's at home. But
yeah.
Before that, it was fun. It would just be like a random video of somebody working on something, and like Steven walking up, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you working on? Look at all that coffee on your desk."
Do you see the fear in their eyes when he's taking the Snapchat video?
Oh gosh, sometimes. I remember Bacon not liking like the little like sneak peeks, like with them doing like Halloween and stuff. Like, what are you working on? Starts trying to cover their monitor. Don't look. It's not done.
The screen.
It's very funny. I like how personable Steven is. It makes it a lot more comforting when you're back in the game.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the community would rage if they don't show off the new building. Just saying.
Absolutely. With how personable he already is, if he's not showing them like every inch of his life, people go crazy. People went crazy for the ducks.
Oh yeah.
You can imagine people will get angry if they don't show the office.
Oh yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh! Hello, Altador. Well, thank you for the raid.
Altador.
Welcome in. Hello,
thank you
peoples.
For the raid. Much appreciated.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for the follows. Hola.
Hello.
Hello, fellas.
I don't have a raid. Protect the tavern? ?
Yeah. Protect the tavern? ?
So I would like to live, so maybe make that an exclamation point.
Yeah, we gotta get ourselves some emotes for that.
The closest thing I have is this thing. It's our battle phoenix. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Firing off some blazing phoenixes.
But
oh, you're too kind, out the door.
So it tells you the games are going to be amazing.
So
we're hoping, Sniper Bros. We're hoping. Y'all ever wonder why we have many people with breakfast food names? Bacon Toast Coffee. A lot of people are hungry, and breakfast is the most important meal.
Yeah, breakfast is the first thing you think of every day.
Welcome, solace, death, and
At least the
despair.
coffee part, anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. Coffee is number one. If he doesn't get coffee, he doesn't life. It's coffee or death. pretty
I'm all
much.
about that energy drink life. I can't drink
Right?
coffee.
I prefer
Actually,
energy drinks.
I guess that's kind of a perfect time for something else I found on the forums.
Oh,
Someone coming in and raiding us saying hola.
hola.
So I did bump into, there is a Brazilian content creator. Now, I don't speak that language, so I don't know everything that they say. So I will put that disclaimer out there. Don't take my word on it that it's amazing content, or that they're saying everything that's absolutely factual. But we are here to support other content creators, so
Yes.
we're gonna do that.
Also, I
Here's
found a German
Brazilian
content creator, too.
creator. For those of you who are so inclined, feel free to check it out. I do know that there have been a lot of people, trying to push to get some Brazilian servers. So hopefully, there's at least a couple of you out there that haven't found this person yet.
Yeah, Davey. A lot of us were really looking forward to the alpha one until they pushed it back. But a lot of us understand why they had to push it back, though. But yeah, I know that there is talk of having servers for other parts of the country, the world, stuff like that. Giving you guys as much, I guess, as the best server that you can get for your area. I think that's something that's important to them. Heading bed. Okay, good night, Altador. Thank you for the raid and the follow and the hangout. So is this game even about as somebody that knows nothing about it? Well, welcome, Sniper Bros. Let us tell you. There's a whole lot that we can unpack with this, but it's essentially an MMORPG that is centered around you, the player. And what we mean by that is, as Easkeruth was explaining earlier, welcome back from your jog paradox. Hope it was nice.
Welcome back.
But as Easkeruth was talking about earlier, like World of Warcraft started feeling like you had a bunch of heroes, but you were all doing grunt work and none of you were actually the hero, right? But instead, Ashes of Creation wants to focus on you and your decisions as a player and our decisions as a community. And instead of the same city over and over, depending on where you level, that city will rise up in level for nodes. There's a whole lot more to it. That's my essential breakdown. Definitely do what Mobtech says, because Narc is a really good one for videos. So is Paradox. If you have any questions, check out Paradox Gaming Network. He goes live at least 3 times a week with Q&A. So yeah, nodes are definitely going to be interesting. I'm excited for those.
And there is also this dandy little site.
Yes,
that
which
has
is
a lot
also
of
by
intro information.
yours truly, Paradox Gaming Network.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, in basics, it's
is this still up?
Oh.
That, another great source.
Oh. That'll have everything you could possibly ask for.
Indeed.
But yeah, there's something to be said about this world that Steven and them are trying to create with Ashes of Creation, and it's going to be very reactive to what players do. Like there's some very sandboxy games where you can decide what you want to do and you can go out and you can build something, but there's not a lot of games that say you decide what you want to do and the world is going to react to that and grow in ways that you may not be able to predict because of your actions, your choices, and where you decide to do what you do.
Like a dragon spawning out of the side of a mountain because you mined its ore way too many times and now it's pissed off at you.
For example,
Or,
like
you
an
know.
entire server can go its entire life without knowing of a certain dungeon because they just never leveled up that node in order for the dungeon to be unlocked. But you could also be on another server and that dungeon's been there since like the start of the game. It's
Yep.
all based around what you do.
No
it's-
two
That node
servers
could
will be
have
the
risen
same.
and fallen 3 times over the course of 2 years, and that same dungeon could have been made available a couple times. Who knows?
But yeah, that's the number one thing. And I think Paradox said it really well earlier on his live stream about like the differences. It's just like, it's based on your decisions. Like your decisions have a lot more weight in this game than they did in previous games. Focus on making the world that actually changes based on event triggers. Exactly. Hero Vision, welcome in. Party of 5.
Thank you so much.
Sorry,
Hey,
that
happens to be the name of our first podcast.
Yeah,
We
that was our
started
old
off
podcast name. Ash's Party of 5.
Started off with like 4 of us with completely different views and approaches, just talking about how Ashes is gonna fit our needs and our likes and dislikes, and then we bring in
Yeah.
a guest for that 5th person.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And by the way, one other thing is there's not like your typical Trinity. There's like Bard is gonna be a support class just as much as Healer is a support class. It's gonna be a little different, and there's super awesome augments that you can do. We haven't gotten that far in terms of gameplay that they've shown off yet, but the idea is 64 class combinations with 8 base classes and 8 archetypes per class. Whew, that's gonna be a heck of a lot of classes to balance.
Yeah, their long-term goal is to make every class feel very unique. And while we don't have much information on a lot of those classes, we do have information on the Cleric, the Mage, and the Tank, which are videos that came out on the Ashes of Creation YouTube page if you wanted to go check those out.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah,
speaking of
there's gonna be
Cleric,
a good handful of locations there, Sniper. I think the Ashes wiki definitely has a list of them. I think there's like 4 planned for release, and they're talking about more as long as they see the support for it in the community, and they see a lot of people asking for servers in certain areas. They're going to look more for that area to get the next server. Yeah, definitely going to be hard to play just one player.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
But that's-
I'm struggling with that because I'm an alcoholic.
That's going to be the beauty of being able to test, though, for those of you buying into Alpha 1 or later down the line, even the betas. Like, you get all that testing period just to try out different class combos and figure out which combination you like the most.
I mean, yeah, as long as you like alt, it's going to be amazing for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be 64 potential class combinations. Now,
They are
granted,
not
there's only 8
horrendous. Sorry.
base classes or archetypes as they call them, and then after you level through the game a little bit, you get the choice of adding in an augmenting second archetype, which thus creates your class.
And
And
I believe you found something on the forums for suggestions for healing mechanics.
I did, and that's also that'll lead right into what I was about to say. There will lead right into that thing as well. But I was going to say that there's not going to be a gigantic world of difference between them. Like, there's going to be 8 different tanks. There's going to be 8 different healers, like clerics is the healing class. There's going to be 8 different bards, 8 different summoners, etc., etc. There's not going to be a world of difference between them, but the secondary archetype, modifying it will change the flavor of it quite significantly. But it's mainly flavor, like how you accomplish the same thing, or there will be a little bit of a tweak to it, like maybe make an AoE out of a single target attack or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
the hardest part is just that we have no clue how it plays out because it hasn't been implemented yet.
I know. Oh,
Yeah, they
I
haven't really
want that
gone-
so bad.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I'll bring that up later in the community, fan focus stuff. Oh, so excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, someone was talking about a suggestion for healing mechanics on the forums. I thought it was kind of neat. Their idea was something along the lines of punishing healers for just trying to power through healing. Like making that cleric so that all you can do is heal, and you're going to push so much healing that nobody will ever die. But they're talking about maybe add a penalty to that so that when you overheal, their maximum hit points is reduced for a little bit. Like a temporary reduction in maximum hit points so that they're full, but their full capacity is smaller. That way you don't want to overheal because it'll keep knocking down their maximum hit points. Kind of as a, I guess you're stuffed full of life too much and it hurts maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that is definitely a lot better in terms of how they normally did it, which was kind of just like mindless healing, where you just you nuke people with healing that got hit pretty hard, and then you just do preventative healing on the tank, which I played a healer for a lot of my time in World of Warcraft back in Cataclysm days. And even though I liked healing, it did get repetitive. It did get very mind-numbing to do that kind of healing, especially when I played a Disc Priest. And if anyone knows what a Disc Priest was, you essentially just kept up your shield the entire time, and that's all you did.
Yeah, pretty much.
Disc Priest was fun though.
I love Disc Priest because of the way that they did their healing mechanics for Disc Priest, which was they had a passive ability called Atonement, which meant that any holy spell that you used against an enemy would grant healing to the nearest lowest health character. And I thought that was a really cool concept they did.
Shouldn't the mana
And you had to
pool
get more
prevent
active with
overhealing?
it.
Maybe it's Ion. Yeah.
And then you had to get active with it, and you had to actually cast certain spells which would grant atonement to specific people, and then your damage would heal those people specifically.
I like
That had to be a little bit more strategic at that point. But same kind of mechanic, but it was still something you had to plan.
I like the cleric in this version of like in Ashes because you're up front and you're actually fighting things, versus like standing in the back and being like da 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 heal. You're like taking life to give life, and it's more interesting and cool to me.
It's definitely a lot closer to a D&D cleric than it is to like a World of Warcraft priest.
Yeah,
for certain.
Yeah, I agree. Should we head into the news?
Sure.
Okay.
And actually, real quick, while you shift over the mindset there, real quick, wanted to respond to horrendous something I saw earlier in chat. And sorry, maybe I mentally blinked and missed the response, but no, if you're talking about the posters on the wall behind Chibi, those are not signed by the artist. Those we picked up when the physical shop was still open, and
Back
we
during
bought stuff right
Kickstarter.
away.
Yeah,
We bought stuff right away and it shipped out, and shortly after we got all that stuff, they just stopped selling physical merchandise.
yeah.
But it's gonna get signed because we're
Maybe,
gonna take it in when we go to see Intrepid people someday.
Yeah, maybe. Fingers crossed. So I want to begin the news. There's not really a whole lot on the news front outside of what we already talked about, like obviously NDA pushback, etc. I'll get back to that for those of you that are new. But the big thing I wanted to mention, and Toast actually wanted me to add in as well, is for Alpha 1 testers, this week's Alpha 1 preview spot test is under NDA. That means no streaming, recording, screenshots outside of the NDA channels for reporting issues, and folks should only be discussing in NDA channels, not outside of it. If it has NDA beforehand, don't talk about it outside of those channels. Just a friendly reminder for those of you that have Alpha 1. Some of us, we've had our NDA access for a little while now. We have previous packages that have gotten us in here previously, so we're kind of used to how things going. But there's a large number of new people with NDA privileges, and I know that it can be a little confusing on how these things work. And the easiest thing is, if you're not really sure if you can talk about it, I would ask probably Toast or Maggie or Ahmad privately, or usually they have a Q&A section. At least they did for like Alpha Zero.
I'll ask Z.
Yeah, ask Z.
I'll ask
Ping
Z.
Z and ask her all of your questions. All of them. Just overload her with
Don't
questions.
tell her we sent you.
But yes,
She'll get
getting
mad.
back to why I made that announcement, as MobTech mentioned, yes, the NDA was pushed back. We were supposed to be non-NDA currently, and instead, if I can find it, I'll pull it up. It's definitely on our Twitter. It's pinned at the top. Ping Z, ask her questions, then tell her she isn't human since she doesn't like pizza. But we actually had, I'll just see if I can pull it up on top of here so I don't have to change. Is it not here? Oh man.
Oh no. I think she heard us.
Oh no.
You heard it.
Rip.
Yeah, Z is anti-pizza.
Yep. But essentially, I can't find it right this second on my computer. We just did a bunch of changing. But the NDA test is this weekend for 3 days. And the non-NDA was pushed all the way back to July because not only are they moving in June, they also released some information about adding castle sieges into Alpha 1 testing. You can find all of this on their news on the forums. And there's big name games that are kind of releasing June 1st. And people like Eloa Wendy, who play ESO, might want to be a part of that big release, expansion release. And so attention will be divided. And because Ashes Alpha 1 is going to be a really, really giant, important piece of testing, not only do we want all hands on deck on Intrepid's side and making sure that they're available on the fly to handle any issues, but also all testers that they can get are available to test everything possible. Because this right here depicts the direction that the game is going to go in the future. So it's important that we get it right.
Feels bad man thing. Yeah, even beyond all that, like if people are paying into a higher package, and one of the deciding points was being able to help test the game, that'd be a real feels bad moment to be like, oh, well, I can't because all of my friends are playing this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I spent the extra money on that for basically nothing because I can only test for like an hour a day.
Yeah.
For that week of testing or whatever.
And I think Steven... Sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I think Steven even mentioned something like knowing that playing with your friends on a new expansion is more fun than doing an arduous test where you're like, it's serious. It's like...
Definitely it holds you yourself as someone who just goes into a game to play games, holds yourself to a higher standard because now you're consciously thinking about, oh, well, if I don't give them the information, what if I was the only one that interacted with this bug, then how would they ever know if it was a common issue or not? And so it's just, you're held to this higher standard, not because they tell you you're held to a higher standard, but Steven stated time and time again that you are here to help with testing. Does that mean you can't play the game? No, you can absolutely play the game, but you should help when it's necessary.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep in mind, every report of something is one report more that's going to get something solved. And by the way, we've said it before, we'll say it again, when it comes time that the NDA drops and we're streaming the game here on this channel, as well as one of us will be streaming on our personal channel as well, just so we're both having two different points of view. We're going to be doing a lot of testing of what you guys want to see tested.
Yep.
So instead of just tuning in to watch whatever we're doing, stop by to say, hey, I want to see what gathering's all about. Go do that. Which, by the way, the crafting stuff and gathering is going to be a little bit limited in this first alpha test, just so you know ahead of time. He's already said it's going to be in the very basic of levels, just to make sure it's something doable. So.
Yes, someone give me their coordinates so I can stop them from testing.
And then also the other thing is I have kind of flitted around from like streamer to streamer and hearing chat about Ashes, like even in the ESO or other game areas, and people talking about like, oh, I'm interested in Ashes of Creation, I'd like to be part of the Alpha 1. And I usually try to jump in there like kind of lightly, like unless you're planning on testing like really hard, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. And it was mainly because this girl was talking about being like a what do they call it when you play lots of different games, but all in the same genre? Variety streamer. And I was like, if you like, in my opinion, if you buy this for $500 to do variety streaming, you're not really getting the most out of this. And I feel like it'd be better if you waited for like beta or something to do that.
Multitasker coffee.
Multitasker. Thank you, coffee. That's exactly the word I was looking for. But
6 computers with 3 monitors each playing all the games.
Oh man.
All the time.
That just starts talking about boxing. Multi-boxing.
Oh man, don't bring us back to that.
Yeah, I will say that if you're going to if you're going to stream this game as a variety streamer, don't do it, because there is already a sense of community between MMO streamers that it kind of makes it difficult for variety streamers to get into it unless they were already there when they started. I'm not saying they can't, but not a lot of people know about this game than we think they do. Not a lot of people have eyes on it. A lot of the people that are interested in MMOs have eyes on it, but if you are a variety streamer watcher, like say you watch Ludwig, say you watch Mango for Super Smash Brothers, say you watch Pay Money Wubby, I'm just listing people that they probably don't know, but you watch all these people for their variety content, they don't really know what Ashes is. Now, I was surprised when I learned that Tim the Tatman and Shroud knew about it, but you won't generally find out about that kind of stuff with most variety streamers.
Yeah.
Honestly, just the time investment alone into Ashes is going to be more than a variety streamer really should mess with, because it's Steven's already said it's going to be a very, choices matter, and being social matters. You can't just like dip in real quick and dip out unless you have a guild willing to support you as a part-time hopper on here and there.
Yeah.
And they're going to push you through content whenever you're on, then your streaming is going to be very boring.
Yeah, and this girl specifically, responding to Aloha, was also an MMO variety streamer. She played a couple different MMOs. But
yeah, like speaking for someone like Asmongold, who just has every single hand into WoW as possible, that's definitely the kind of person that would benefit from that sort of thing. Again, I'm not going to gatekeep here. You want to stream the game? Absolutely, go ahead. I would love to see more eyes on the game. But if your goal is to be a variety streamer, that kind of leads you into doing different content every day. And MMOs, like Virtek said, take up a lot of time and resources that variety streamers don't necessarily go for.
Yeah, well, that, and I mean, Steven's already said it's going to take more time than normal. So, I mean, by all means, you do you. If that's what you want to do, I mean, we're not going to stop you. The more people playing, the better for us.
Absolutely.
I want more people playing it. I want it to be a success, but
glad you brought that up, Lark.
May not be the best.
Yeah. Dev Discussions released yesterday, number 30, on crafting. And this week, month, I don't know. What are some examples of crafting systems and mechanics you've enjoyed from other games, and why? What percentage of your time do you typically find yourself engaged in crafting activities in an MMO?
I will give WoW a plus here. A single plus, one. And that is their engineering crafting. Their engineering crafting provided a lot of uniqueness, definitely stuff that you couldn't find out of any other profession, and it's something that should be implemented in most crafting. Is that
and sometimes things you couldn't find in the game outside of that crafting ability.
Because you want your profession to feel like it has a purpose, and WoW lost that with their vast majority of crafting professions, mainly talking about blacksmithing, leatherworking, all that other stuff. Obviously, doing alchemy and engineering was still very important, and that's what a lot of people went to. I'm going to actually steal this from a buddy in another server. He talked about this, where you can have a system in the game that makes it necessary in terms of augmentations to armor. Having those augmentations make you valuable. Now, that might not be that you'd feel valuable enough that you'd be able to make your own armor and make super powerful stuff. Ashes is still early. They could have that stuff in. They could not. I got no clue. The plan is to make crafting important, and that's a really good way of doing it, is to make it to where certain augmentations that are created by certain professions are needed in order to get the best value out of your armor or weapons.
And Coffee Drinker says, y'all say you want more players until I get in there raiding your caravan.
Right. Yes.
How many people you got, Coffee? Come at me.
The Bearded Gamer. Well, right now the game itself isn't any good, so to say, because it's still in alpha phase. It's still being constructed, and so many systems are in their very, very, very infant stage. So it's full of bugs, and it's full of things that need ironed out and wrinkles that need a fixing. But I mean, it's got promise, and they're going in good directions. And every time they make a step forward and they introduce something, it's always well received. The only thing that isn't really is the delays, which are going to happen because it's an alpha.
Right. I like Cabal's answer about Final Fantasy 14, and I actually saw somebody else's answer about Star Wars Galaxy, so there's a few things, you know. Yeah, we can't wait to try it out either, Bearded Gamer. So, looking forward to July.
Yeah, I like, now that you mentioned it, Cabal, that was a good system with the fact that you could interact with it purposely to make really good stuff, or you could just auto grind to just gain levels so you can start making bigger stuff. And just dump cash into a fire and just level up by just spending a ton of money and just walk away from the game for a while and let it just do whatever. But other systems that I like, they're from a couple other games. How they've done it is you can take certain aspects from some gear and add it to others. Not in the you need to completely trash this thing to get a chance or to get a certain amount of experience to level up a piece of gear, but let's say this thing has like a +5 to dexterity or whatever, and you could take that +5 and replace a +3 to intel that's on the other gear. It's both a different stat and it's an increase, so you could choose and customize based on you have one piece of gear that you are going to destroy, but you're going to get something useful out of that you choose specifically. It's not random. It's not chance. It's not just buying 17 of them and praying to God one of them turns out something useful. It's this thing has something that I want, and I'm going to take it and put it on my gear and replace out this thing that I don't want. That's the type of stuff I would love to see in Ashes.
Yeah,
absolutely. I would absolutely agree with that, especially because of the fact that it's going to be any class, any race can use all weapons and armor. There's so much RNG to the crafting system that you kind of need that buffer just to prevent it from being an insane kind of grind. And it's not necessarily that it takes it away from it. I would say it would actually add on more, because it would give people the incentive of mix and matching certain things to fit their playstyle, which there's going to be 64 of them.
Right? Tons of playstyles. Oh, man.
Wow, thank you, Bearded Gamer. Much appreciated. I actually just trimmed them up today. I mean, it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm serious. I actually did just trim them up today.
All right. Fan focus?
Yeah, I was going to say, rumor has it you found a Cambiguous meme in the wild.
I found 2 Cambiguous memes.
What?
Uh-oh.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
They're the memeiest of the memes.
That first is not working for me, and I don't know what to do with it.
You break it?
I think so. Oh, you know what? No, that's a download link.
Oh.
Whoops.
Well,
now I have 3 of them.
Oh no.
Good job. Let's see. Can I find the... Nope.
I'm going to go ahead and toss that into the proper folder real quick and then pull it up.
Okay. Well, while you do that, I'll go ahead and make mention of this other person about some comics.
You do it.
You peoples like comics? Because somebody's making a comic a day here, it seems.
Yes.
Over on the forums. That's the first one. It kind of reminds me of...
Hold on, I want to show them too.
Yeah, it brings back to mind. You want to show them? Okay, you show
I
them.
want to show them as you're talking about it. Like, they're really good. This is why I grabbed them.
Yeah, there was Voxiv that ended up doing some comics at one point. I know he's got a lot of stuff going on, so he's only able to put out 1 or 2 every once in a while. But his were really, really great as well. Keep waiting for him to put out another one.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Always excited to find new content creators, new just content, new art.
To do new and interesting things.
Waiting for more Z claimations.
Yeah, Z, where they at?
Yeah, Z.
Just saying, slacking over there.
I'm just saying I really like the first one. I'm waiting for the next one, you know?
Let's see. Be able to gather materials and a base weapon creates something super good just for you. Yeah, that would be solid. Cabal. Everything they're adding, what's the overall size of the game? What settings needed to play the game? Will it overheat your PC? Oh man, my PC is going to need to be replaced before it goes
Oh
live.
no, I'm sorry, the Bearded Gamer. What is that one?
Oh. Let's see here. Let me go to that.
Oh man, did we accidentally go 2 for 2 here?
Okay, that's good. All right, I'll post it out.
Okay.
Unban the beauty, even though I think it's only like a second ban or something. All right, there we go. So this is what he posted out there. And I think it's pretty funny because, yeah, truth.
What is that one? But for those of us doing...
Somebody dying in a desert,
Oh no.
crawling through games, and they find a little can that says, or a little, not a can, sorry, a phone, it looks like a can. But they found a phone and said mobile games, and they leave the phone behind and keep crawling through the desert. Games.
Alright, so here's...
That's funny.
Oops. Oh no, there's a meme in the back. Ah!
Oh no,
What do I do?
it's a Mimi comic.
Nope, that's the wrong thing.
Don't you all have phones? Yes, Cabal.
There we go.
Perfect,
Jeez. Okay. Got it. So, yeah. This is one of the comics. Which comic was this? I think that was the number 4, comic number 4.
We made it, boys. Let's find that treasure. I'll seek guidance from the stars. That's my Beck bro right there. Or Vic
Oracle.
bro. Yeah, could be an oracle. Maybe.
Guys,
Maybe.
it's right here.
I'll just start trying to guess what their class
The
is.
bowels of the earth. I mean, that may be true. Vec might be so absorbed in the stars they don't even look down.
Oh
Right?
man, that just kind of goes into theorizing about how the different classes will play with their racials. Oh, I had such a long conversation in the Discord one night just on that alone.
Oh man. And then here's another. This is, I believe, the alpha being pushed back comic.
Oh, that's a very interesting thing that green man is saying. I wonder what it's in reference to.
I have
Yeah,
no
right.
idea. Wouldn't
That's actually
possibly
pretty
know. Yeah, right.
For those that aren't exactly watching this, because we do try to post this in audio format as well, we got a person sitting up in front of a lot of people saying "citizens." Oh, let me get it pulled back up here.
Lugzug.
Which one was that? Oh,
That was the alpha. Do you want me to put it back up? I was
there you go.
already
Yeah,
good. Okay.
I'll pull it up here. Why? So yeah, somebody's sitting up in front of some citizens saying, "Citizens, the alpha wagon appears to be delayed." And the citizens scream, "What happened to it? What about my carrots?" "There can be only one reason," thinks said person up front. And then you see a demolished wagon with an ogre screaming, or an orc rather, screaming, "Loktar Ogar." It may have been World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it may have been a studio that decided to push their release forward.
Oh my
All
gosh,
that
I love
fun
this
stuff.
one.
Zog Zog.
The dreaded fire mage, and it's fire. And he's still going. Well,
Well,
that took care of itself.
It was a very fancy animation for that fireball when the first iteration of it coming out. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I thought that was going to end up being something. Maybe they were experimenting with animations, and it was going to end up being like the end game skill or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for. But they were just trying to like test out the animations, and maybe it'll make a return once you get like max skill in Fireball.
Yeah. I remember everybody hating that animation though. They're like, please get rid of it. Change it.
Yeah, because it's like the spammable spell is what people were worried about. Is that's kind of a ridiculous animation for a spammable spell.
This is Vertec.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
Artink is experimenting with summoning powers. There he goes. Is that a giant pork chop? It's quite the meat shield.
And then he gets gobbled up by the dragon.
Attack while it's occupied.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. And then
I gotta say though,
great.
the fireball jump thing actually took me a moment to figure out what that was all about. I was scratching my head for a minute when I first saw it.
Oh.
And then it clicked, and then I
no.
thought it was hilarious.
Oh no, that's huge.
Uh-oh.
Ah! Okay, hold on. I gotta resize it. Whoopsie daisy.
Puns, the height of comedy. It's always got to be about size today, doesn't it?
Jeez. Right?
Yeah.
Just because I'm short, guys. Come on.
Yeah, you don't want to stoop down to that level.
Ooh, send it on over to me, Coffee. Send me a private message.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh, me.
I couldn't see it. I can't
Yeah,
really
let's
see
do it.
this sometimes, so here we go.
Wiggle, wiggle.
There we
Not
go.
quite. Yeah, not quite there yet. The Alpha one is currently under NDA. You can find out more on their website or by going to our Twitter. We have the new updated timeline there.
Yep. It will come out soon.
TM.
I'm using quitty fingers because it's not like tomorrow soon or next week soon, but sooner than it has been for this entire year.
Yeah. I know.
That's true.
Aloha was super excited over it.
I know. Yeah. There was a bunch of people that were getting super psyched up for it.
Yeah. Now, some of this other stuff, don't really have a whole lot of time to sit here and share, like, the whole thing. But there was this cute little video somebody made about the night before Ashes. And they did, like, a nice little, like, night before Christmas rhyme for Ashes. And then aside from that, we have some art that were shared by the official Ashes of Creation Twitter. I'm going to try to save this image.
And here's the comic Coffee was talking about. I think it's good. It's a little bit of a read. It's not quite as quick as the other ones, but it's still good.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and toss it out there to share with the group.
Definitely good to have more of this other forms of media that are out there for the game because it helps get eyes on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, here we go. I really like this one. This one is by King Manny. I don't know if we showed this last week, but if we did, whatever. I still love this. This is a great piece.
Show it again.
I like it that much. Top's a little cut off, so let me fix that. There we go.
Kind of honestly makes me think of like a mix between was it Goblin Hunter and
Goblin
The
Slayer
Witcher.
and Sword Art Online to
Goblin
me.
Slayer, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see the Sword Art Online with the two
'Cause the-
separate
yeah,
blades.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why I was thinking Witcher, like the one silver blade and
Okay,
one
okay.
steel.
Yeah.
That is a lot better than thinking about Sword Art Online.
Yeah, I agree. I like Witcher way more. And the white hair, or is that hair or is that fur? I can't tell at this point.
Looks like fur on the collar.
Fur.
Hey, Tielf. All right.
Thank you,
have a
Tielf.
good night.
You have a good
We'll See you
night.
next time.
Yeah. And then the other thing is this beautiful photo by Water Witch. And I think you guys will enjoy this. Keeping the peace somehow, be it by giving an oath or, hiding a dagger behind your back with blood on it.
That's a nice one. That's a really good one.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I said, yeah, one or the other. One way or
Right.
the other.
That's the sword's Kirito uses SAO alicization. Yeah, I recognize that. But it was announced as non-NDA this time. No, it's NDA currently. It used to be non-NDA Kyotada, but literally as of, I think, last week, they announced that they had to push it back, and that this weekend is under NDA, and the non-NDA will be on July. Let me see if I can pull that up just so I can show that.
Yeah, get the schedule up there so folks can take a look.
Yeah. Was it live streams? It could be on live streams if I can find it. I'll just save it from our page. I think that'll be the fastest way. This is the way.
This is the way.
Okay, and then pull that back here. And then here. And then here. And then ta-da! I'll just go ahead and pull it up. I'm so proud of myself.
And I'll go ahead and toss that out to everyone as well.
Thank you. It's up on our Twitter, so if you ever want to refer to it, here it is. So NDA spot testing from May 14th through July 9th. July 9th through the 11th will be the non-NDA that would have been this week. And as you see, there's only, 2 days between the end of the first no NDA and the beginning of the month long. So instead of waiting a week or two, you're waiting literally 2 days. I think that's way awesome.
And you know what I just noticed? I think they have an oopsie.
What is their oopsie?
Uh-oh.
Other people are seeing the oopsie, but I'm not seeing the oopsie.
Oh no, looking at their actual official post that they put out on the website on March 12th. The schedule there says non-NDA. It still says no NDA for the 14th to the 21st.
Oh yeah, I can see why that would confuse some people.
Oh, is that what you're just sending us, Kiyotara? Sorry about that. We ask that you request to send links first so that I can unblock you, or at least send us the link. It's to prevent people from sending malicious links.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, thank you for
that's
reposting
funny.
that. Can we explain XP debt? You die and now you owe XP before leveling continues. Is that pretty good synopsis?
Oh, that was from March.
The XP debt as we know it right now?
Yeah, I believe so.
As far as I know it right now, the XP debt only comes in place when you are corrupted.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong here, and if Jalon's still here, he can correct me. But
It's yeah, the way it's gonna end up working is you can lose experience, but you won't lose levels.
Exactly.
So if you die to just a random monster out and about, random mob, you'll lose 8% of experience, like 5%. If you die, say, 15 times, and you end up actually going down to, say, a 0 experience for that level, and then also negative 20 experience beyond that, you will just have to make up that 20% of experience and then an extra 100%. And then you'll get up to the next level. So you have to do 120%. But you won't de-level. You won't go from like level 39 to 38 or anything like that.
Yeah. But you'll have to make up the XP that you're lacking before getting new XP, essentially.
Yeah, that was actually, by the way, my oops. I clicked on something that I thought it said May 12th, 2021. It was March 12th, 2021.
Okay.
That's why I was really confused. Wait. They posted up something that said the NDA was over already.
And the final thing for the fan focus is we had the please don't get mad at me, Intrepid. We had the luxury of playtesting Ashes of Creation D&D last night with Bartik and a small group of 5 of us, where Bartik reenacted the 5,000 Bears catastrophe. Slightly smaller scale at first, and then I didn't actually recognize the second combat where we were fighting a giant tree and it kept spawning things, unless that was the sisters that look kind of tree-ish. I don't know. Thank you, Hirandis. We had a lot of fun. Vertec, what were you?
Yeah, so he wanted it to be as close to Ashes themed as absolutely possible. So
Yes.
I crafted my class and my race and everything else around being a Frognar spell shield.
Yep.
So I was a
For the
frog
names.
guy. And I even had something similar to a Hellish Rebuke spell that was actually, I named it what was it? Suffering of the Forgotten. And I had it was an artificer with the armorer not backstory, but subclass. Or specialization, I guess it is with artificers. Whatever. Either way, it was super jacked up with intel and super jacked up with AC and health. I had like 20 AC and a 20 intel, and I was just casting spells and demolishing bears. But also they couldn't hit me, so it was pretty amazing.
And some of you may know from earlier in Jalon's stream or previously, I will occasionally tell people how short I am. I played a 4'10" Pyre Enchanter, which is Summoner mixed with Bard. In order to accomplish that the best I could in D&D 5e, I did Sorcerer and Bard. And by the end of it, I was essentially burning a giant tree with dragon's breath, just spouting huge cones of fire out of my mouth with like 5d6 or something damage. With the help of somebody else who threw like whiskey at the tree, which set the tree on like doubly fire, kept it on fire. It was fun.
They strapped a whiskey bottle to an arrow and shot it from a tree on like what 40 feet away or something, 50 feet away on the other side of the battlefield. yeah it was an interesting night.
I'll actually be putting up my actual character is going to be slightly different from the video because Bartik had noticed a few changes, like especially with the HP, and I had noticed a few problems with the spells that I chose, being that I've never multi-classed before, so I had a lot of pretty much the same spells on two different classes, and I was like, oh, that's not useful at all. I can do the same stuff.
Oh yeah, that's just really a D&D Beyond thing. It's kind of difficult with D&D Beyond to tell what spells are for what.
Yeah,
they do list the class right underneath, but when you're in the character creation screen, it's really hard to dictate what's been used and what's not been used.
Yeah, exactly. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, MobTech, that was definitely called in the moment. Like the GM said, I don't know, man, that's gonna go about 5 feet, it's gonna fall and shatter on the ground. But he got a really good roll. Yep. So
he let him have it
happen.
Because it's a one shot. Also, by the way, one shot. But keep an eye out for Bartik. Bartik said that he would like to do this at least every week going forward, at least until Alpha 1 non-NDA is released. So if you guys would like to see more chaos with Ashes of Creation mixed with D&D, go check out Bartik's channel. And
it's always themed, at least for the Ashes one-shots, it's always themed around whatever's happening most recently with the developers, like what they're talking about or any videos they share, any content leaks they let out.
At the end of it, we essentially got mauled by literally 5,000 bears because the screen just filled up with bears. But as a wrap up,
I saw that screenshot.
Yeah. As a wrap up, Easkeruth, do you have any final thoughts for tonight's podcast?
Really enjoyed being on here. Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you to chat for listening to me ramble on for minutes on end. And I'm just hoping to get into testing with you guys once the NDA drops. Absolutely. It's gonna be a lot of fun interacting with the Greater Ashes community, because even though I know I'm Sims editor and we're all in this like little bubble in Sims Discord, I do appreciate everything that everyone does in the greater community in terms of the content that they produce. I think you guys do a fantastic job.
Thank you. I am so happy by the content creator. We have like Jalon, Sim, we're happy to actually be able to pull you from behind the screen and like the anonymity of being their editor and get to meet you and hear your interest and stuff like that a little bit. Put you in front of a camera.
It definitely makes it a lot easier for me to talk about stuff with Ashes, because if I wasn't the editor, I wouldn't know that much. But when you're, and everyone who's an editor knows this, when you're sitting in front of your computer screen and you've been editing a video for 4 to 6 hours on end, you know so much information because you have to watch and listen to it so much.
So many times, yeah.
Watch it over and over. Honestly, even things that I talk about on the show, by the time I'm done editing everything, I know more about it than when I started.
Yeah, I agree. Bruh, mood. Thank you for clipping that. I hope we can name our tavern. Yeah, I think you can. We're planning on trying to make our tavern in-game and put our little tavern sign up and everything. Which is why we went for more of a tavern-themed overlay. So, hopefully as we get...
some of the... go ahead. Sorry.
Go.
Oh, I was going to say, I know I've bought some of the freehold themes based around making a Golden Feather Tavern in the game, so can't wait.
I agree. And hopefully once NDA drops, I can find a cozy little tavern themed building somewhere and just sit there and record maybe a good minute loop that we could just have going with like a nice little cozy fire and maybe some tables and see what we can do with that.
Oh yeah. And me wanting to make journalism content for Ash is definitely going to have to talk to a lot of players and games. So you can expect me to find the really nice taverns to hang around in.
Oh, yeah. We might have another job for you.
Yeah, definitely thinking about going to the tavern. I think it rhymes with the Bold and Tether. That sounds like a nice tavern to go to get some journalism done.
No, coffee. We're gonna name it Golden Feather, our tavern.
Kitty Cat Club.
Oh my gosh, this is actually a birthday gift. I'm glad I got the replacement back in. These are working well so far. So, all right. Well, do we have anybody streaming Ashes of Creation that we can go raid real quick?
Oh, let's see if anybody's
Send the love forward.
The people that we have.
I don't know. I think everyone's doing absolutely nothing right now. So
yeah, that's fair. They're all like, I was gonna stream, but now I can't. I guess I'll go eat pizza and lay in bed.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing nothing right now, so I can't.
I guess I'll go out and watch a movie. Can we do that?
I mean, I already took the time off, so.
I took the time off because I needed to go watch a movie.
But yeah,
absolutely.
We actually have somebody talking Ashes of Creation. I am not familiar with the name.
Yes,
though.
Coffee. Oh, that's even better because we don't know them and they're new and hopefully
give somebody a surprise visit.
No breaking of the NDAs. But before we begin this raid, I just want to take a moment and say thank you, all of you, for joining us and hanging out. And we're hoping that maybe we can see more of you in the future. And like a lot of us, we've applied to be an official content creator. If we don't get in, that's not going to stop us from continuing this series.
Not a thing is going to change.
All of your I don't know, support, much like Paradox Gaming, all of that goes right back into the channel. We, we have our day jobs for our bills, but this helps us with making the stream better, and we'd like to hear your voice. So feel free to give us a nudge or I guess, what is it? Comment card, I don't know, suggestion card. Yep, both absolutely. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Bearded Gamer. Welcome in.
Yep. And if you ever want to see anybody, let us know. We'll see if we can get them on here, chit chat a little bit, maybe get to know them. You can harass them with your questions and see what they answer.
All the questions.
But as she was saying earlier, thank you so much for spending your time here. You could have been doing anything with it, anything at all, except for testing the Ashes Alpha because womp womp, it got pushed back.
It's not under non-NDA, so.
Yeah. So, you could have been doing anything with it. We definitely appreciate you spending your time here. And thank you so much for the interactive chats.
And thank you, Easkeruth, for giving us your time. And we
Thank you
hope
for
to
having
see
me
you
on.
guys next week. We'll have Jalon on. And without further ado, let's go raid this unsuspecting victim. So, here we go. We just can't really talk about it. We like the thing that's public is who is in Alpha 1, but we can't talk about anything to do with it outside of that for now, because
Yeah, we can't even say like whenever there is a test, we can't even say that there is.
yeah,
We
yeah,
can't say that it exists that day at all. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just like to make jokes about doing nothing.
yeah. Hopefully, we can get a group of us to play in July. We can all live stream together. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. See ya. Let's go raid.
Later. Let's go make a friend.